Doctor, is the NAACP only an African-American organization?
Never has been. The founding members were African-American, Jewish, white. It is a civil rights organization, a social justice organization. And many, many, many of our members are not African-American. Governor Wolf is a lifetime member. Many people are lifetime members or annual members of the NAACP who are not African-American.
Racism in North Carolina made national headlines this year in the fall with rallies by white supremacists. Is racism only a problem in the South?
Racism is pervasive just in the general ether of the United States. It's almost impossible to be born here and grow here and not have imposed upon you these implicit biases. If we look back through the history of this country, how the institutions have been used to dehumanize people who are not mainly Anglo-Saxon Protestant. You know, every other group has had to fight its way through very difficult racist points of view. And if not by the color of your skin, then by your religion. If not by your skin or your religion, then by your place of origin, you know. I mean, the Irish caught a maelstrom of opposition and denigration. Everybody who's not Anglo-Saxon Protestant has had to push their way through those thoughts and perspectives and perceptions.
Conservative journalists would sometimes minimize the racism, even particularly in the North. What local problems have you personally observed in the North or Delaware County when you were with the media branch or living locally? That implicit bias that you're speaking of, I don't mean something that occurred in comparable to what we saw in North Carolina, but what can you say that could help make people more aware? Or what have you observed that can cause people to reflect?
Okay. As president of the NAACP here in the media area, I receive phone calls, complaints. When people call a local branch, it is because they believe their civil rights have been violated. And my experience was that it was mainly racially related. School complaints, things, the unfair discipline, the
unequally applied between minorities versus white students.
Yes, yes. Parents in fear that if they came to us and we advocated for the child, that the child might face retribution. Work complaints, people losing their job without knowing why. And mainly these are African Americans who were calling us. Every now and then someone who is not African American will call and ask, well, do you help other people? Well, yes, we do. We're a civil rights organization, you know, and if you believe your rights have been violated, you can call the NAACP no matter your ethnic background.
Are you referring to other protected classes, other ethnicities?
Well, other protected classes, yes. And other ethnicities, yes. Because if you've had your rights as an employee violated, we don't really care what color you are, because if they'll do it to one person that way, they'll do it to another. And so we often refer people, you know, to the OEC, the Office for Civil Rights, for the Human Relations Commission, to DOJ, to the housing. Well, under Human Relations, we would send most of our housing complaints. There's an area where people move into an area and then they become harassed and horrible things are done to them.
Because of minority status.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And in Delaware County, I'm talking about the area that we serviced, our jurisdiction in Delaware County. Now, there are other branches of the NAACP in Delaware County, Yeadon and Darby. And some of the complaints that were called into media were actually out of jurisdiction, and we would refer those to the NAACP branch that holds jurisdiction in those areas. Housing. There have been a number of housing complaints in Delaware County. A number of education complaints. So mainly those are the ones that I recall, because some of them were really painful. Oh, and police complaints. A number of police complaints. To the point where a number of years ago, we held a training for police persons in Delaware County. The district attorney worked with us to organize that.
Police complaints. What is it like to be pulled over late at night being a young male minority?
Well, it's traumatizing enough that I have sat on the phone and cried with men because they've been so dehumanized and humiliated.
For committing crime?
During the interaction with the police, you know.
Again, were they pulled over for committing crimes?
Well, not necessarily. And they weren't always pulled over in a car. Sometimes they're neighborhood interactions. You know, people are out for the evening and going to their car, and mistaken identity, and it's complex. It can be any sort of a scenario because everything isn't being stopped. There was a lady, though, this was amusing to me, who had me on speed dial. And she apparently went home from work late at night. And I don't know if she was a speeder or not, but there were a number of calls from her, policemen pulling her over as she's driving, maybe 3 or 4. And I thought, my God, she's got me on speed dial. It's 11:30, you know. So you can't always tell what people are really doing, you know. But the police are trained, and the expectation is that they protect and defend, and that they are the one who knows how to manage the interaction. They have the force of law behind them, and people are frightened when they're stopped. And we do want and expect the police to know, to be trained well enough, and to have a personality and the characteristics to keep a lid on the situation.
Dr. Duvall-Flynn, you have so much work to do. There's such a need. How large is the payroll of the NAACP? How huge is your paid staff?
Well, this is an interesting question. This is why we recruit membership all the time. In Pennsylvania, there might be 2 or 3 paid people, and they are office clerks.
Per local branch, per...
In our area, there are no paid people. I think the major cities, maybe Philadelphia, maybe not, but I know Pittsburgh has an office person who receives a small salary. But of the 10,000, nearly 10,000 members in NAACP in Pennsylvania, we are volunteers. We receive no salaries. We are your neighbor and your friend who believes that there must be someone you can go to if you need help.
Who can join? How can people help the cause when they realize that our President Trump came into power through xenophobia? Yeah,
well, anyone can join the NAACP who is right-minded and believes in social justice and is willing to live within the boundaries of our Constitution and bylaws. We have youth and college structure where college campuses, we have college chapters, we have youth councils where within a local branch, young people who wish to participate can form a youth council where they learn leadership, they learn civic engagement, they learn the political structures of the United States and how to work within them. It's a marvelous thing. They do all sorts of projects, environmental, health, economic. They learn to carry out the major focus of the NAACP and how to work within the government to do that.
Is there any overlap with the NAACP's message and other civil rights groups or resistance groups like Indivisible?
The goal...
And do you guys work together or partner for
do.
any causes or rallies or events, things like that?
Okay, so last month I was in Elkins Park where the Organization of Jewish Women was having a Why Courts Matter event. We support any organization now, League of Women Voters. We frequently collaborate on issues that are social justice issues. The Fair Districts organization, we work with them. They've been to our quarterly meetings. We attend meetings that they organize because we are a part of that group for which the vote is silenced because of the gerrymandering. So yeah, Education Voters, Education Law Center, PILCOP. We work with any group that's working on something that we need to achieve in society. Fair Funding Campaign, for school funding. Yeah, we collaborate. We collaborate with groups that share our values and the issue that we're trying to achieve.
Very informative. Dr. Duvall-Flynn, we're going to leave it there, but I want to thank you for being a guest on Delaware County Political News.
Larry, thank you for having the NAACP. Thank you for what you do.
We have been here with Dr. Duvall-Flynn, and I am your host, Larry DeMarco. If you like this episode, please don't forget to follow, like, share, subscribe, and forward to all your friends on your contact list and Facebook friends. We're signing off. Tune in next time. Bye for now.